Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey Death Ray here. Hope y'all are having a lovely Friday here. It is the weekend officially. I hope you guys had an awesome week and are geared up for a relaxing, maybe chore-filled weekend here. I mean, you got to get some stuff done, so what can you do? This has actually been one of the better weeks I've had in a really long time. So super happy about that. It's been a pretty awesome week filled with a bunch of streams and a bunch of fun stuff going on here at the channel, and even an episode of Hit the Bricks where we had our guy Cecil Laird from the Horror Show channel filling in for Nick from the Lost River Drive-In. So that was fun to shake things up there as well. And earlier today we had a members only stream that was a heck of a lot of fun. We did 90s horror movie trivia, and our guy Dean Renner from Enter the Cinevault ended up winning the grand prize, and he chose a $30 Amazon gift card. So guys, sometimes it pays to be a channel member. Literally, that's the whole point of having the, with the horror trivia and everything, we really want to make sure we can give some prizes. So, you guys get a little back that way. So something to think about if you're a subscriber, not sure if you want to do channel membership or not. Just for $1 a month, you can become a member. So super chill. You get, exclusive, posts and streams, polls that you can participate in. So you guys can, so the channel members can pick what kind of stream, gets to be exclusive to them. I think the next thing we're going to do is going to be an exclusive channel, members only watch party, which should be really fun. And then the next trivia is going to be 80s horror movie trivia. So if you're a nut for 80s horror movie trivia, maybe you start thinking about getting that channel membership. I'm super pumped that we have so many great members here and so many awesome members that end up buying, gifting memberships to other people. So that's really cool. So anyways, enough about that. Just wanted to talk about it because it was a damn fun time. I'm going to say what's up to everybody in the chat, and then we're going to get going here with some of these, horror movie news that has kind of popped off since Hit the Bricks Live, happened on Monday. There's been some new stories, so we're going to cover those here tonight. I'm going to say what's up to everyone. We've got Lamontre Gillard in the chat. What's happening, Lamontre? We've got our guy Antonis Andriotis. How you doing, Antonis? Hope you are doing well. We've got Paula Fitzhenry. What's happening, Paula? We got Chester Franklin Jr. in the chat. How are you doing, Chester? Hope you've had a good week. We've also got Jigsaw popping back in. What's happening, Jigsaw? Always great to see you. I felt like there was maybe a little bit where we didn't see you, and then now this is the second time. I think did you pop up yesterday in Movie Punks? Or was it on Late Night with the Davey? They kind of blend together for me at this point. Got to be honest. We got Adrian James in the chat. What's happening, Adrian? Always a pleasure to see you. Brett is hanging out. How are you doing, Brett? We've got Leanna Bevy Rage in the house, one of our great channel members and Death Squad mods. How are you doing, Leanna? Great to see you, as always. Let's see here. We've got Jordan Decker, one of our amazing channel members. How you doing, Jordan? He says, I usually come first, but I came in third today. It's all true. It is all true. Let's see here. I think we are all caught up with everybody hanging out in the chat as of now. So yeah, guys, a couple things before we really get rolling, just so maybe by the time we're into the news, maybe a few more people are here in the room. I am planning on there's a possibility of a watch party this weekend because I saw that the Monster Squad is free on YouTube. So I'm very tempted to do a watch party of the Monster Squad because I friggin' love that movie so much. And I know it's not going to be free on YouTube around Halloween time. So I want to take advantage. So maybe I'll put a poll out there or something, see if you guys are interested in doing something like that. Maybe on Sunday night or something like that. And then, we had the return of Movie Punks last night. My guy, Foz Rotten, and I talked about Real Genius from 1985, celebrating 40 years of that film, and also taking a look back at Val Kilmer's career and, celebrating his whole entire catalog, or at least everything that we could think of in the time. So that's been awesome to have Movie Punks coming back. Now, in conjunction with Movie Punks coming back on Monday, Start Bench Cut will be back. Matt Facci and I from Facci Cinema, we're going to be rolling at 9 p.m. Eastern. There is a post on the channel, so if you want to contribute any 3 items that you want us to, to rank Start Bench Cut, it's basically a PG version of Fuck, Marry, Kill. It's a sports metaphor version of Fuck, Marry, Kill. So anything that you want to see us rank, go ahead and find that post on the page and drop your ideas in there. We're just going to be kind of, I'm sure Matt and I will each come to the table with a handful, but I love having when you guys contribute. And of course, during the live stream, feel free to contribute then as well. So I'm really pumped for that. And then a couple more Davey Death Ray ads here. This next late night with the Davey, we're going to do something special. So last week we had Mark from Tales from the Shelf on, and we did that versus battle between The Terminator and Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Now this Wednesday, we're doing a halfway to Halloween celebration. Nick from the Lost River Drive-In is going to be on Late Night with the Davey, episode 41. Can you believe it? And we're going to be doing a watch party of Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Now, I know you're probably out there saying, that's like the worst movie in the franchise. And I think it's pretty close, at least in my ranking. I think it was pretty darn close, but it's one of Nick's favorites. It's a movie that he's really passionate about, and he's not just out there liking it just to be a contrarian or anything like that. He's done multiple videos defending this film. So I'm looking forward to watching Halloween 5 with Nick from the Lost River Drive-In. Maybe he can enlighten some of us that don't really dig it too much. I always sort of get bored about 3/4 of the way through that movie. So I'm sure I'll be more entertained and lively since we'll be on a live stream. But I'm really looking forward to that. And then on the Thursday, the very next day, because halfway to Halloween is like end of April, beginning of May. So we're going to do a 2-parter. On Thursday, May 1st, we're going to have Barry from Wolfman's Got Nards on, and we will do a watch party of Halloween H2O. So I just wanted to let you guys know what's coming up here on the channel. I'll mention that stuff at the end as well. But I'm really excited about that. All of those streams are on the channel right now. So if you don't have the notification bell clicked, you can go ahead and click that. And half hour before we go live, you'll get a little heads up. And then when the live button actually gets hit, you'll get another heads up. Or you can just go over to the stream and click notify just so you don't miss out on those. I'm really pumped to be getting back in the groove of things with, regular, monthly guests and shows like Start Bench Cut and Movie Punks, all that kind of fun stuff. So I hope you guys are excited about all of that returning as well. It's been a long break for some of this action, and it's perfect. We're going to celebrate halfway to Halloween. I can't wait. We're going to watch 2 Halloween movies that I'm lukewarm at best about. But I think we're going to walk away, or at least I feel like I'll walk away with a little more appreciation for both of those films here next week. So, let's see, make sure I didn't miss anyone else jumping in. We got Wayne Gotke. What's happening, Wayne? Hope you are doing well. And who else? I think that's it. We just got Wayne jumping in with us. All right, cool, guys. So let's go ahead and get to some horror movie news. I'm going to take a sip from my cup here, from my Michael Myers Halloween 45 cup there. There we go. Brett likes H5 as well. So perfect. Brett, you're not going to want to miss that one. H5 watch party sounds riveting. Oh, we're going to have some fun. I'll give him some shit, and then I'm sure he'll set me straight a couple times. Yeah. Well, I really like Rob Zombie's Halloween too. Everyone knows that, though. Screw H5. Well, come hang out with us and watch it, Antonis. There is a copy on YouTube, so even if you don't have a physical copy, you can watch here on YouTube. And, let us know the moments that you have contention with, and then maybe some of the moments you actually dig. Oh, I like Tina. I mean, I think first off, the actress is just a total knockout. Absolutely stunning. And it's not like the actress wrote the script, so I think Tina's got some good moments. I still wish Rachel was around, at least for a little bit longer. But, I think most people hate Halloween 5 because they kill Rachel. The mask is weird. Loomis is a drunken fool. I don't know. I think there's a whole bunch of yuck going on in there, but we'll talk about that on Wednesday, Antonis. Guys, before we get going with the news and everything, and I know we had talked about this a little bit last night on, Hit the Bricks Live. I'm still trying to figure out my lighting in here. It always looks like this is why people on the news wear foundation, because it just always looks like I'm got a greasy face or something like that. I guess that's the best it's going to get. Not great, but the best it's gonna get. But yeah, guys, last night on Movie Punks, before we really got going with everything, we did want to celebrate the the life of Lar Park Lincoln from Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. She passed away yesterday at the age of just 63. And regardless of how I feel about how that film came out, because unfortunately, the ratings board, the MPAA, just really gutted all the gore out of that movie. Unfortunately, it's got, plenty of nudity, all sorts of other adult themes, but for whatever reason, even though the franchise had hired John Carl Buechler, a special effects master, to direct the film, the MPAA ended up cutting so much out. So I feel like sometimes when at least when I think of The New Blood, that's one of the things that really sticks out to me. But also another thing that I think about is when I was a kid and I saw these movies for the very first time on television. Now, I don't have, I watched Lee from Drum Dumps, had a great tribute. The New Blood was the first Friday the 13th film he had gotten to see in the theater, which must have been an awesome experience. I wasn't that fortunate. I was like 5 when the movie came out. But maybe about 5 or 6 years later, on right around a Friday the 13th, like a weekend, USAA, that's my bank, USA Network was airing a whole bunch of Friday the 13th movies, and that's one of the ones that really sticks out to me. Now, I did see the first movie first, oddly enough, but that's the movie that really stuck out to me when I was a kid. The one that I always wanted to make sure to catch when it was on television, because I loved the way that Jason looked. I love seeing those ribs and the spine, that juicy, wet Jason look with the chain around his neck and everything. And that was like the time in my life when I was getting into comic books. I'm a huge X-Men fan. I've been a big X-Men fan for a really long time. And so I didn't even think about it as like Carrie versus Jason, which I know is kind of how the movie is sort of billed. To me, it was sort of like Jean Grey versus Jason. There was a little bit of that vibe, and I really, not to say that any of the other Final Girls or that like Tommy aren't formidable opponents for Jason, but this was the first time where Jason, he's supernatural at this point, and then he's also got an opponent that has supernatural abilities. So Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, always, to me, it's a standout film in the franchise. And it's one that I'm always going to remember fondly, because when I was a kid, it was my favorite. Now it's moved, to the middle of the pack as it stands now. But, Lar Park Lincoln is a big part of that, because she brought Tina to life, and all of those interactions with her and Bad News Cruz, Terry Kaiser's character, those are great moments, really fun practical effects that they used in that movie as well. And there's just something about like Tina that you rooted for, because you knew she was being lied to, taken advantage of. You could tell that she felt like the outcast. There's just something about that performance in that film. It's always going to stick with me. I'm not going to sit here and, I know that she was in other TV shows and movies and everything like that. I'm not going to sit here and, pretend that I know everything about her career, but I can at least speak to what I know and, what I'll always think of when I think of her, or when I think of Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. So I just wanted to, spend a quick moment on that really quick here. Let me see. We're going to move on over. There we go. So we got Bloody Disgusting pulled up here. And I'm sure you guys have all seen this. I just wanted to take a look at it. So she was in, just to remind myself of some of these, pieces that she was in. I know, Knots Landing. I remembered that one. Beverly Hills 90210. Oh, Murder, She Wrote. Hey, episode of Freddy's Nightmares. That's pretty awesome. 13 Fanboy. That's a great little film directed by Deborah Voorhees from Friday the 13th Part 5. Ooh, Sky Sharks. Isn't Sky Sharks? I think Sky Sharks is a movie that our guy Eli Cortez had sent to me. Oh my gosh, we might have to watch that. Yes, Eli Cortez, our amazing channel member, Death Squad mod, pillar of the horror YouTube community, sent me a copy of that movie. So we might have to do a little bit of a Lar Park Lincoln, watch party tribute there and check that one out. Maybe throw in a little New Blood as well. And then House 2, the second story. All right. Yeah, and it looks like, so, what they've got here from the Actors Audition Studios, what they shared on Facebook is, it is with profound sadness that we announce the passing of Lar Park Lincoln. Over her 45-year career, Lar left an unforgettable mark on Hollywood through her dynamic performances and dedication to mentoring aspiring actors. And that was something that Foz had brought up yesterday during Movie Punks. Is her book was basically, trying to coach young actors through their career and not getting taken advantage of. So Tina was taken advantage of in the New Blood, and then the real life Tina, Lar Park Lincoln, wanted to make sure that actors weren't taken advantage of when they're up and coming. So and there she is from that Roseblood fan film. That's a kind of a legacy sequel to the New Blood. Nice little shot there of her and Jason. Yeah, so I just wanted to touch on that really quick. I know everyone's putting out their tributes on Insta and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes when I see like the big dogs, like, Christian from Planet CHH or Pizzal and all those guys, and everyone's posting on Insta, I'm just sort of like, I'll let those guys take care of this, and then I know I'm going to be able to talk to you guys directly and say my piece. So just wanted to show a little love there to Lar, in the event, since we learned of her passing. So let's see here. I just want to make sure, I want to say what's up to other people that may have joined here. And let's see, where the heck was that? Is that the one? That's the one. Just want to say what's up to anybody that had jumped in here within the past few minutes, and then we'll head on into the news from there. So let's see. Oh my gosh, I feel like I've missed so much. Let's see here. Hey there, Wayne says H5 isn't without its problems for sure, but I still watch it whenever it comes on. I watch it every year, Wayne. Every year around Halloween, I've got to watch all of them. We got Robert the Wolfman. Ow, ow! One of our great Death Squad mods, channel members, and a fellow teammate of mine over at the Horror Show channel. He's got plenty of stripes over there. I've earned 0 stripes over there, but I'm looking forward to earning those, and happy to be on the team there, Robert. We got Cody Snyder, another Death Squad mod and channel member. What's happening, Cody? Hope you are doing well. Great to see you again today. Brooke Scarlett, another channel member and Death Squad mod, says, Davey, yes, USA up all night. That's how I watched all the Friday the 13th too. Yeah. With Rhonda, and then I know Gilbert came in later on, but I first saw USA Up All Night with Rhonda. I had such a crush on her, and now when I look back, I'm like, she's really not cute. I'm not trying to disparage her. I'm just saying, like, looking back, I think maybe my younger brain was like, oh, relatively thin blonde girl must be good looking, and she's on TV, But I love Rhonda, love her so much. Wasn't there a time when her and Linnea Quigley, they were like hanging out in a convenience store in like LA or something during one of those Up All Night? I don't know. Let me know. I hopefully that's not Mandela effect, or I'm not just making that up. But I swear they did something together there. Jason versus the telekinetic teenager. Yes, yeah. That would make a heck of an X-Men like offshoot comic, like a what if comic. What if the X-Men fought Jason Voorhees? We got Jamie Hart in the chat, our original Death Squad mod and channel member. And she probably could have won trivia today, but I think she sandbagged a little bit to give somebody else a shot since she won last time. So she's a good sport, even though she's got all the knowledge and has seen every movie in the theater. How are you doing, Jamie? We got Billy Judd in the house. What's happening, Billy? Always great to see ya. We got Prince jumping on in. Of course, Prince. He had reached out asking me and maybe you guys can tell me in the chat, which movie do you think is going to do better at the box office? Final Destination, Bloodlines, or I Know What You Did Last Summer? I picked Final Destination because I have the feeling I Know What You Did Last Summer's, well, whatever. We'll get to that later. But I'll just tell you right now, I think it's going to be Final Destination. And then I'll tell you why with, I Know What You Did Last Summer here in a little bit. Just want to make sure I did not miss anybody else. Looks like we may be all caught up here. There we go. We are. Heck yeah. Boom. Robert dropped the Horror Show channel link there in the chat. Make sure to subscribe over there. Help him reach that, I think, very close to 60,000 subscribers. So, yeah. She held back a tiny bit. She's willing to admit it. There you go. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and jump on over to the news. So you saw the thumbnail. You saw that I've got my concerns about the Crystal Lake TV show. Now, earlier this evening, right before jumping over here, I jumped onto the Ghost Files with Vincent DeSanti. You know that he is a very trusted and knowledgeable source with Friday the 13th. And one heck of a filmmaker, producer, all that awesome stuff. I trust Vin's word quite a bit. And even having said all of that, I am sort of like, man, it feels like they're dragging their feet on this thing. And here's here is what made me have that feeling initially. So I saw this tweet. Are they still calling them tweets? From April 22nd. So this is before, I think this was after, right after Brad Caleb Kane posted his image on Instagram, which we'll get to. But this is from Discussing Film. There it is. And so it says pre-production has begun on A24's Friday the 13th prequel series. Linda Cardellini will star as Pamela Voorhees. And the thing that stood out to me is I was like, pre-production has begun. Like, what the hell? I mean, they hired this guy in October, right? So got rid of Brian Fuller like last spring, summer. Made the announcement that Brad Caleb Kane was hired in October. There was, right? Was it October? I think it was October when they made that announcement. It might have been September or something like that. Or you know what? It might have been the end of August because I think we had a Friday the 13th in September and I was kind of surprised that they didn't like tease anything. And then we had a Friday the 13th in December. I figured at the very least, if they're doing if they have any sort of get up and go with this production, we're going to get like a teaser poster. We're going to get, I mean, shit, even just like the font for the name of the TV show, just something official from these people that have been working on this thing since October of 2022. Yeah, it's been 2.5 years now since this thing was announced. And I understand they had to start all over again. They scrapped what they did with Brian Fuller. I totally get that. But to not even be able to give us any sort of meaningful breadcrumbs, I think is like, that's why I say, I'm concerned. And then when I see pre-production here, I'm like, well, dude, you were hired 6 months ago, right? Or more, 6, 7, 8 months ago, something like that. And it's like, I would figure that by now we would know who's actually in this thing other than Linda Cardellini. Like if anyone of note is in this thing, or if any actors that have been in anything previously, especially anything horror leaning, I figured we would have known something about that by now. And so when I see pre-production, I start thinking, well, there's a Friday the 13th in June this year. That's Jason's birthday. I was really hoping that we would get like a trailer by then, right? But if they're just doing pre-production right now, it looks like they've got a script and everything. Here, I'll go ahead and share this one as well really quick as we chat about it. So yeah, if you take a look here at the photo, we see a little bit of a script. at least an outline or a rough draft of the script, which is encouraging, of course. But I mean, we're looking at people not even being casted. Who knows if they have locations figured out? I would be very surprised if we have anything, really meaty by June 13th this year. Possible they could maybe drop some sort of teaser trailer that really wouldn't show much, just like they would be able to shoot some things really quick that could be cut together for a teaser trailer, but nothing that would be that meaningful ultimately. And then here's the crazy thing, guys, is after I'm trying to close this ad, it's hilarious. After this Friday the 13th in June, the next one is not until February of 2026. So that's why I put that poll in the chat there. We have 21 votes so far. Will we get the Crystal Lake TV show in 2025? 29% of you say yes, we'll see it in October. And we'll talk a little bit about how that could maybe be possible. And 71% of you say no way, it'll be Friday the 13th in February 2026. So here's the thing. I guess if they shoot it and do post-production like a traditional TV show, so if they start filming this summer, and then if they're going to release episodes like once a week, if they're not going to do like a batch release of episodes, which is usually the case with streaming, usually they do, at the very least, it'll be like 3 or 4 episodes or half a season and then drop the other half of the season, a little bit down the line. If they don't do it in a batching sense, then it's possible we could see, a debut right around Halloween. It's possible. I ain't holding my breath on that. The A24, I don't know what's going on here. If they're it could be, maybe I'm just being cynical. It could be that they really are just taking their time because they want to make sure they get this thing right. But again, Brad Caleb Kane has been hired on for over half a year at this point, right? So, and we haven't seen a damn thing until this last week, a few days ago, where we got that picture on Instagram saying that this thing's going into pre-production. So yeah, I've got my concerns. I'm not necessarily concerned that the show is going to be good or not. Like, I mean, that'll just have to wait to be seen. I think Linda Cardellini is a really good casting decision for Pamela Voorhees. I think she's a good actress. So that's awesome. I don't know much about this Brad Caleb Kane guy. I know that he worked on the It TV show that's about to drop sometime soon, but I haven't really seen or heard anything about that. And It is a story that doesn't really interest me very much, honestly. Like, I don't think it's very interesting. I don't hate it, but I'm just like, like the movies, I think, or the movie and the book are enough for me. So yeah, I've got my concerns here. It looks like you guys have at least got your concerns that we're going to see this thing get released in a timely manner. So guys, I think by the time that we get this show drop, if they want to time it for a Friday the 13th, they could always release it in December, November, January, whenever they really want to. I just figure, like, if we don't see this thing until February of 2026, then that'll be pretty close to 4.5 years since they announced it, which is gnarly, right? I mean, that's a long damn time. I mean, I'm trying not to be a jerk. I'm happy that we're going to get something Friday the 13th related, and hopefully it'll lead to some more films and us getting to see, grown-up Jason and everything like that. But yeah, I don't know. I've got my, reservations. But I'll just read through this here really quick. 16 years after the most recent installment of the franchise, in the wake of years worth of legal battles and behind-the-scenes issues, the Friday the 13th franchise is finally making its way back into our lives with Crystal Lake. And series showrunner Brad Caleb Kane has updated us on the production over on Instagram tonight. So this is from April 22nd. There you go. So yeah, you guys know the story. Based on the characters created by original Friday the 13th writer Victor Miller, the script in the photograph was written by Brad Caleb Kane himself, and the copyright is registered to Camp Blood LLC. So that means that they say it's likely that this means that pre-production has begun again, with production gearing up to kick off soon. I friggin' hope so. I would consider, once you hire your showrunner, I'd be like, technically you should just say, hey, we're in pre-production right now because we're writing everything and we're putting it all together. I could be wrong on the way that they use that term in the industry. That's just the way that I understand it, is pre-production is everything you do before you go to camera, right? So they should have been working on this really from day one, from hiring this guy. So we all know what this is going to entail. It's going to be, a mother who'd given up a singing career to raise a special needs child and take a dark turn when she loses her son. Yeah, much like Vin, I'm not really into the whole giving up the singing career because it makes it seem like she might kind of resent Jason a little bit. Although, if you guys know my little theory, maybe not my theory, but something that I think about when I watch the original Friday the 13th is I'm like, what if Pamela did it? Like, what if Pamela, just reached a breaking point, knocked Jason in the water, or Jason fell in the water, and she just sort of saw it as her opportunity to get rid of that burden, because it's really odd in the original Friday the 13th when she's like having her, I guess like psychotic break, we see an image of Jason like floundering in the water from quite a distance, and it's like she sees that and almost projects that to the audience, right? And so she can hear him saying, "Help me," and all this stuff. So that sort of made me think like, well, what if she just like did it herself or let it happen, didn't try to save him, and then as part of her, psychosis, she just blames the camp counselors. So she's not a reliable like hero or heroine or whatever. Like, she is a true villain. And so this whole thing with the mother that gave up her singing career, that makes me think that maybe we will get a little bit of a Pamela that's got a dark side before Jason dies. I think that would be interesting. That would make me think that the show is actually doing something like kind of fun. And if you guys tuned into when Vin was on to watch Friday the 13th, A New Beginning a few weeks ago, or I guess it was about a month ago, he had said that he kind of wants them to just sort of recalibrate the beginning because it's so messy, that timeline of what really happened. Did Jason die? Did Jason survive? Is Jason supernatural from the get-go? All this stuff. This TV show is a great opportunity for them to just recalibrate and reset the foundation of the series from here on out, and then we can move into some Jason movies. So I'm really excited for that potential, although it looks like we might be waiting quite a while to see all of that. So I've been jib-jabbing for a while. I'm going to see what you guys have to say, but I desperately need some water. All right. We got Mark from Tales from the Shelf. What's happening, Mark? Hope you are doing well, my guy. Always a pleasure to see you. Let's make sure that we didn't miss anyone. Jamie says, as long as they're working on it, I don't care how long it takes. When it gets here, it gets here. Hashtag chillin'. Yeah, you've got a way more chill attitude than I do, Jamie. Also, I'm just sort of like, when they had made other announcements, in 2024, I had jumped on here a few times. So, and I don't cover like the news all the time here on the channel. So I was like, you know what? After thinking about it for a day or two, and I saw that Dave McRae had gone live, and part of me, like, I don't know if there were people in Dave McRae's chat that are basically like, we just want Jason, like, we just want boobs and blood, because I mean, I love Dave to death, but every time he talks about this, he's like, guys, we can't just have hockey mask Jason and boobs and butts and blood and all that stuff. I don't like, that's not the way that I feel. I'm just sort of like, what's taking so long? Why is there no like fire under the asses of these people? And just with the history that this thing has had with the false starts, that's what makes me nervous. That's what makes me concerned. So after, seeing Dave jump on and everything, I was like, you know what? I've been thinking about it for a couple of days. I was like, I'm going to jump on and do a little something. And I gave you guys the option, pre-recorded video or a live. You guys chose the live by a stunning like 87%. It was a landslide, as they say. And 26 of you in the chat right now or watching the stream right now. I guess you guys proved me right that live is the way to go. Hey, by the way, if you're watching right now, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share the channel with somebody in your life that you think would dig this kind of content. And if you're watching after the fact, jump into the comments and let me know what you think. Am I crazy? Am I just like way too up on this and just kind of up these guys' butts about getting the production going. I don't know. Just let me know what you think. Let's see here. Wayne says the standards for the Friday stories, storytelling wise, have never been very high. I'm really hoping this series can change that. Yeah, I think, and I know you said this quite a while ago, Wayne. You're sort of saying what Vin had said, when he was on here, just something to sort of set things right here. A good launch pad for things moving forward. Blake says just watch The Last of Us episode 2. I haven't seen any of that show and I've never played any of the games. I'm such a dummy when it comes to that stuff. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, now you guys are just talking about Last of Us. Let me see if I can get through all sorts of Last of Us talk. Yeah, Jamie, they need to give her a reason, like giving up her singing career takes all the... Yeah, I don't... That's the thing, too. Is it just like I could have been a dancer? Like, it's kind of cliche. It's this... Yeah, I don't think she really needs a reason, right? It can just be that she felt like she didn't have anywhere to go and that Crystal Lake and the Christies were, a family and a community that accepted her and her son that was very different, I think that's enough. And I think that makes it even more tragic. Not this whole, I could have been somebody if only I didn't have this kid. So that makes me think that, yeah, maybe we are going to have Pamela not really being a good guy. Even though we're going to want to relate with her a little bit, I think there is going to be a little bit of that push and pull with, do we see her as the protagonist or the antagonist ultimately? What's happening, Koi? We got our guy Happy Sanjo in the chat. Guys, Koi has a channel. Happy Sanjo. That's the name of the channel. Koi, I was looking at my calendar earlier today. I'm going to get back to you here after the stream tonight because, guys, we are planning a fun little horror discussion, film discussion over there on Koi's channel for May. So keep an eye out for that. Once we've got something cooking, I'll let you guys know more. Chester saying what's up to Koi, as well as Jamie and Leanna. And Blake says, good theory, Davey. I always thought of that scene as that's her imagining what happened. Yeah, so she was there. So think about that, guys. She was there, if that's what that means. Unless she's just imagining what happened. So kind of making up. Is that what you're saying, Blake? That she just sort of made up what it would have been like if she was there? I think it's an actual memory. I think she has an actual memory of Jason dying in the lake and she didn't do a damn thing. So I don't know. I like that idea. I like that idea. I don't think she needs a failed singing career to motivate her for sure. Punky Stardust, what's happening? Welcome on in. I feel like your screen name is a little familiar. If this is your first time, though, welcome. You're kicking it with the Death Squad, and Punky Stardust says we do not need a series based as a prequel to the first film. There is no story really to tell. Yeah, as far as Jason goes, we kind of know what we need to know about Jason. I agree there, Punky. But I do think that if we want to bring Pamela into this as a little bit of a bigger figure, and I think Pamela is a really important character. Don't get me wrong. I love the boobs and the blood and the butts and all that stuff. It's what brought me there in the first place, guys. But now as I look back after, I watch these movies at least once a year or so, I do think that, yeah, Pamela is the reason for the season as far as what Jason does. And on the flip side, ultimately, whether or not my theory is correct or not, Jason was the reason why Pamela broke. Right. So, yeah, we don't need to know everything we need to know about Jason. We pretty much know. But knowing more about Pamela as far as what that dynamic was about and seeing that, especially if it's just if they did 1 or 2 seasons and then we go into adult Jason or something like that and they turn that into films, I think that would be enough. I don't think it needs to be a drawn out thing. I would even take just 1 series with Pamela, and at the end of the first season she gets her head chopped off or whatever. Or maybe at the end of the first season Jason dies. And then halfway through, yeah, I don't know. But I hear what you're saying, and I agree as far as Michael Myers goes and all that, Punky. I don't want any backstory. I don't want any reason why. But since we already already sort of know that about Jason, I'm okay knowing a little bit more for sure. Yeah, how did Jason survive that? Well, they're gonna have to recalibrate and set everything back to 0 on that one, Billy. What's happening, Eli? That's our guy, Eli Cortez. Amazing Death Squad mod, channel member, pillar of the YouTube horror community, and a man that has a very impressive physical media collection. Yes. Eli, we were talking about you a little bit earlier because we were doing a little tribute to Lar Park Lincoln, and I had seen that she was in Sky Sharks, which you sent me. So we might have to do a little Sky Sharks watch party and celebrate Lar that way. Jason's mammy could have been the next Madonna. Exactly. I could have been Lady Gaga, you jerk. Mark my words, they will ruin the franchise. And in some ways you can say it's already happened, right? I mean, Jason Takes Manhattan isn't that great. Jason Goes to Hell, no, not very good either. Jason X, what is this, a Star Trek TV show? I would say like Freddy versus Jason and even more so the Friday the 13th remake, like that's an uptick right there. But now we've had 16 years of nothing, Punky. So, I don't think the show could ruin it any more than it's already been ruined. But if it doesn't go well, then we are not getting any Jason movies. That's for sure. So if that ends up being the case, then you'll be right on that. Yeah, for sure. Holy cow, Happy Sanjo gifted a channel membership, and NRU Cody was gifted that membership. Welcome to channel membership on the Davey Death Ray channel, NRU Cody, and thank you so much for gifting that membership there, Coy. Really appreciate it. We don't need boobs. Jason Lives became a classic partly because it had no. Yeah, that's my favorite in the series for sure. So you don't need them. It's fun when they're there, though, right? It's fun when they're there. Jamie says, I think they want to do it right. A little extra time might be the difference between total crap and a masterpiece. So I appreciate that, Jamie, because you're being the angel on the shoulder here. The devil on the shoulder is me. So I appreciate that. And I so hope you're right. I hope that I'm just being like, reactionary or, overreactionary, I suppose. Again, I've never worked on a film, anything like that. So that's why sort of when I heard Vin talking about it and he was like, yeah, well, if they start production in like the early summer and if they, 8 to 10 days, like per episode, and then they send those episodes out for post-production, like feasibly they could start rolling out episodes in October. But if they decide to batch them, then it's going to be a whole new story. So I could totally be talking out of my ass. I just, with over 2.5 years into this thing, or about 2.5 years since they announced the show, I'm just sort of, I think I'm getting a little like, oh no, every time there's a piece of news that's not juicy, like, come on. I'm not being unreasonable thinking that we should at least have a poster, right? A title, like a graphic artist puts together an actual official title. That's it. Just a PNG of the title. Just, that's it. Crystal Lake, with the peacock logo above it, instead we have all these people like making up their own, all these fans. And it's like, these guys could put something together. I'd love to have some pre-production breadcrumbs. So hopefully we see those soon. What's happening, Miss C? Hope you are doing well. Saying what's up to Davey and the Death Ray crew. Yeah. The Death Ray crew. All right. I usually say, we say Death Squad, but Death Ray crew is cool as well. I'm not going to tell people what they can and can't say, Miss C. I don't do that, but I like that. Death Ray crew. That's cool. Let's see here. T. Parker Evans. What's happening, T. Parker? Seems like it's been a while, man. Hope you've been well. I've seen you popping up on other people's channels. You watch Curse of Michael Myers with the Sledgehammer Horror people? I think I saw you over there. I love Curse. Curse is a lot of fun. T. Parker says it seems like every horror franchise goes the TV route for 3 seasons or less and then goes back to the big screen. Yeah, that could be. I think that's what they're planning here. And, really, yeah, it would just sort of be like, all right, we're going to send you back to the minor leagues, which is TV. You go back to the minor leagues for a little bit, 2 or 3 good seasons of a show, and then boom, back to the silver screen. All right, Coy. Happy Sanjo dropping a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Coy. Says, love Dave. I agree. He sometimes argues points I don't see people making. Hockey mask and raunchiness, but Pamela isn't appealing for a lot of reasons. Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up, and then I'm not the only one that noticed it, because I kind of wanted to say that in the chat where I was like, who's Dave talking to? Because I think that, I think who he's talking to are people that aren't really like in his chat, because I think most of the people that are there for Dave McCrae, and some of you jump on over here, and you guys, all of us are kind of all over the place in the horror sphere here on YouTube. I think we all understand that you can't just make slasher movies now the way that they used to all the time. I think every now and then it can work for sure. I mean, like, look at something like Terrifier is like, that's something that, like, they're not going to be able to keep doing it forever, but before the novelty wears off, it is really fun. So yeah, it's funny that you say that, Coy, because I was like, should I jump in the chat and be like, Dave, who are you arguing with? Because I haven't really seen that either, even on like, Twitter and all that kind of stuff. And I do understand what you're saying here. Pamela isn't appealing, for a lot of reasons. I mean, I guess it's just that we kind of know how that story ends as well. So I guess that sort of goes back into what Punky was saying as well. Like we kind of know the end all be all. So that's probably why they're throwing in this singing career thing. And, I guess we're just going to see a little bit more of her, being welcomed into this community and then seeing it turn sour. But what are some of the reasons? I'm just curious to know, Coy, what are some of the reasons that you think make her unappealing as a character, or make you just not very interested in seeing that story told? And thank you again for the $5 super chat, man. Really appreciate you. Let's see here. Cliche is an excellent description. They should be a bit more creative. Yeah, seriously, when I saw that, I thought in this voice, I could have been a dancer. Like, it was just one of these, like, so silly. Yeah, it does sound stupid. Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. There's the link for Coy's channel there, for the Happy Sanjo channel. And it looks like we've got a newcomer jumping on into the chat. We got Texas Hardcore 1965. I hope that means hardcore. At least that's what it meant when I was playing punk rock music. Welcome to the chat, Texas Hardcore 1965. I think this is your very first time you're kicking it with the Death Squad. So everyone make Texas Hardcore 1965 feel very welcome here. Looks like you guys are already doing that. You guys are amazing. And there we go. Coy's been playing The Last of Us 2 on his channel. So yeah, guys, if you enjoy watching people stream their gaming, that's a great spot to go check it out at. And then in May, you'll see my ugly mug over there talking movies with Coy. And Coy, we've got to bring you back on the Davey Death Ray channel to finish up our Scream chat, because we got about halfway through the movies. So it'd be really fun to jump back into that for sure. Let's see here. I'd like to see Jason building his little hut in the woods using random parts and pieces he's gathered and find out where he got that toilet from. Yeah, how does he get plumbing? Or is there just a hole underneath there and the toilet's just a nice place to sit? I don't know. I don't know. Davey, wasn't there a comic book at some point detailing the idea that Crystal Lake was cursed and supernatural from the drowning of Native American children in the 1800s? Wow, that's a really good question, Wayne. Let me see if I can look that up. Camp Crystal Lake cursed by... Let me see if I can find something on that. I don't collect a lot. Like, I collected comics when I was younger. But I haven't collected comics in a really long time. So I'm seeing this on Reddit. Something popped up. Does anyone know? Let's see here. There is a little something we found here. The lake is cursed. A bunch of pilgrims killed and arred and butchered a native tribe, and the shaman cursed the grounds. So that is, from a comic book. So I don't think it would be canonical with the films, but it, and that's pretty intense stuff. That would be pretty wild if they worked that into the story here at this point. But they could, I don't know. If we're gonna try to explain why he was a little boy when he drowned and why he's a grown man in the second movie, I guess that's a good way to try to explain that there is something supernatural going on. I don't know if it needs that hardcore of an explanation. That's pretty grim. I like the way that Vin thinks about it, is just that, because of Pamela's death, that Jason is like a revenant. He just keeps on coming back, keeps on coming back to avenge his mother's death. There you go. I didn't even need to look it up because Coy had it right there. King Matthew the Third, what's happening? Says, sorry I'm late to the stream. Just made it from late night fishing with my dad. How are you doing today? I am doing great. I hope fishing went well for you and your dad. And yeah, we're just still talking about Crystal Lake TV show. We just can't get off this topic over here. We got Erica in the house, one of our great Death Squad mods and channel members. Hope you're doing well, Erica. Always a pleasure to see you. Punky says they should start off a few episodes with him being born, then drowning, then maybe fill in some empty plot points from the sequels. All right, so you want to see kind of a quick, sped up process there. That could be interesting. I do think, though, I would like to see that more. And I know this might be your first time hanging out here, Punky, but whenever we talk about the Halloween TV show, I'm really interested in like the Halloween TV show being kind of an anthology where we get to pick up, there are a bunch of loose ends, dead ends, retcons and all that stuff in Halloween. I mean, it's probably the most egregious one other than Texas Chainsaw. But on the Halloween TV show, I'd love to see like one season that just picks up after Halloween 4, one season that picks up after like H2O, stuff like that. But I do think here with the Friday the 13th story, especially the fact that they're calling it Crystal Lake, I do think that we really are just going to get a prequel TV show, just straight up. And then I think by the time they're ready to get adult Jason back to the big screen, the show will just end naturally. That's my hunch anyways. Oracle 684. Is this your first time in the chat? I think we've got some first timers here. Hey guys, if this is your first time or you have not yet subscribed, make sure to hit that button and subscribe to the channel. I go live multiple times a week. We're always talking horror and movies, community, lifting each other up. If you're a content creator as well, we're always, I'm always shilling for other people's channels and all that fun stuff. So make sure to hit all those buttons and keep on coming back for more. Oracle 684 says, I think they're going to do justice with this because it's been a long time. And the fact is the backstory with Pamela and Jason, you got to see that bond between them and the films. Yeah. I hope that is really the heart of the story, even though I kind of want to see Pamela be the villain ultimately and not really justified in what she does. I think that even if that happens, there's going to be some sort of turn about halfway through. But I think we are going to see some happiness, and we are going to see that bond. That's my guess. First few episodes are going to be like relatively light. Maybe some of the kids teasing, but Jason and Pamela have a strong bond, and the Christies are good people. I think once Jason drowns or whatever, the Christies are going to be like, we're not going to touch this thing. Like, these kids are like rich kids. They're not going to give up the rest of their, lives. They're, all that kind of stuff. So we're just going to cover this thing up and like hope it just goes away. Jordan says, I only watch for the boobs. I don't even know who this Jason guy is. Jordan only wants the fun bags. That's right. Yeah, I think Linda Cardellini is going to look good. I think she's going to be good. I dig all that. I dig all the Linda Cardellini stuff. I just feels like they're dragging their feet at this point. What's happening, Raggedy Man? It's been a while. Welcome on back. Dirty Pillows Decker. Jeez. Steve Mayers in the chat. What's happening, Steve? Welcome on back. Says greetings. Davey and Flick friends, have you heard the new Propagandhi? It rips. I've heard the two new singles, At Peace and Cat Dad. I've heard those, and the new record comes out in like a week or something like that. I'm really looking forward to it. I love Propagandhi. I'm a huge nut for everything they've done. It's amazing. Starting out as like a kind of rough and tumble pop punk band, and then now they're basically playing, it's pretty much like metal for the last handful of records. I mean, I adore Propagandhi. Yeah, really looking forward to the full length coming out here soon, and hope you're doing well, Steve. It's been a while. Welcome on back, man. You watched part 6, or Cursed, the producer's cut. That is the preferred cut, at least in my humble but very loud opinion. All right, guys. Let's see here. Let's get a couple more chats and then we'll move on. Jamie says, personally, I don't think it's going to be about Jason. I think it's going to be about a small town and the people in it. What made Pamela so close to the edge that she loses it when Jason drowns? There you go. Yeah, I think it's going to be like the tragedy of them being welcomed in and her feeling like they have a safe place to be, someplace where her and her child can, feel that community and feel that family. And then it's going to be when Jason drowns, that's going to be like the betrayal is going to be so apparent. She's going to realize that, oh man, I thought things were one way and these people really don't have my back, when that's what I was like, that's what I thought we had finally found. I think that's going to be like the tragic turn for Pamela here. Let's see here. What's happening, Herbert? How you doing? Yeah, and that's how the death curse fell on the camp. But I mean, it's through the comics. It's not technically canonical with the films. But of course, headcanon can be whatever you want it to be. What's happening, Perp Minded? Welcome on into the chat. Welcome back. Great to see ya. Hope you are doing well, and hope you've had a great week, man. It's a common trope in the genre, unfortunately, Jamie, but I hope so as well. Yeah. Let's see here. I want Crazy Ralph to be a main player, says Raggedy Man. Hey, we might see Crazy Ralph. Leanna says, I think the relationship isn't unhealthy. It's just a huge responsibility, and she gave up everything for this. She has nothing left to live for. Yeah, that losing Jason really does just put her in a spot where that's it. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, Leanna, is I think that her... she's basically been either ostracized by her family. Clearly, the father's not in the picture for whatever reason. We don't know, at least in the story that they're going to tell. So, yeah, it is like this is the only place that she feels welcome. And then when it all falls apart, it really does feel like she's completely alone and been abandoned. Yeah. Let's see here. Oracle684 says you guys should check out my channel. I talk mostly about movies. Pretty much 100% of it. Most of it's horror, but he's like the outdoor stuff and a little bit of live streaming gaming, not much. Okay, so a little cornucopia, but mostly movies, and they can just find it by looking up Oracle 684. I would hope so. All right, guys, we're gonna move on to another story here. We've talked to Jason for quite a while. Holy cow, we're like an hour into the stream already. That's amazing. You guys are beautiful. Now what the heck happened here? Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I lost like all of my... Oh no, never mind. Sorry guys. Technical difficulties. So some of these are pretty quick, like kind of cute, funny things. So not everything's going to be a serious discussion about the Crystal Lake TV show and whether or not I think they're dragging their feet. I'm guessing they're going to be putting it in the... I guess it depends on how old Jason is, if they're resetting everything. Vin had shared something earlier that it looks like there's a TV show being casted called Mama's Boy, which seems like it could be just a secret code word code name for Crystal Lake, and they're looking for people that have like a 70s look, like no piercings, 70s hairstyles, no tattoos. They're looking for like extras and people to be, be in this TV show that's going to be a streaming show, and they're filming it in New Jersey. So I'm guessing, Perp, that it's going to be that they're going to kind of, change the time frame to place this in the 70s, so that way the movies are happening about 10 years later. But let's go ahead and jump on over to here. Boom, boom. There we go. So we got some fun stuff here. There it is. Hopefully you guys can see that. There it is. All right. Yeah, Ryan Coogler's Sinners soundtrack and score pressed on vinyl. by Mutant. And I just wanted to, I'm a big vinyl fan. Like, I think all of you that have hung out here quite a bit know that I'm a big music fan. It was my original love. And man, the music in Sinners is really damn good. I mean, the movie is pretty close to a rock opera, pretty much like a rock blues opera. I guess rock opera is just the term that you use. So let's see here what it says. The Sinners soundtrack and score are available on vinyl from Mutant. The soundtrack features James Blake, Cedric Burnside, Jerry Cantrell, Miles Caton, Peter Dreams, Eric Gales, Rhiannon Giddens, Ludwig Göransson, Buddy Guy, Brittany Howard, Chris Stone, Kingfish Ingram, Lola Kirk, Jack O'Connell, Erla O'Leonard. Oh my gosh, that is not how you pronounce that, because there's probably some crazy Irish way to say that. OG Dave. All right. Am I the OG Dave? Bobby Rush, Raphael Sadiq, Haley Steinfeld, Don Tolliver, Rod Wave, and more. Wow, they had to put and more after naming like 20 people. The score is composed by Academy Award winner Ludwig Göransson from Oppenheimer and Black Panther. All right, and being released on August 29th, double LP pressed on 140-gram colored vinyl, $45. Looks like they're also going to sell a CD. Guys, I think $45 for a double vinyl is actually kind of a steal. A lot of vinyl sells for like 25 to 30 just for a single. So I think this is a soundtrack that's worth having. I'm not the biggest, like, I listen to rock, punk, metal, all that kind of fun stuff. I do have some soundtracks in my collection, mostly John Carpenter stuff. Got the Jaws soundtrack, 2001: A Space Odyssey, all that fun kind of stuff. But this is a soundtrack that I could totally be into adding to the collection. I really enjoyed Sinners. I don't know if you guys saw the review that Cecil and I did over at the Horror Show channel. But I really enjoyed the film, and the music is one of the big parts that I enjoyed. So I thought that was a pretty fun thing to share there for all you, audio heads out there. Excuse me. Gosh, couldn't keep that one in now, could I? And then another fun one here. Friday the 13th, Elm Street Twin Peaks Diner mugs. There's also some Halloween in there. So this is really fun. A little something for everyone. We got Jamie Hart's favorite Twin Peaks in there. For the Double R Diner. And yeah, I love this shape, this like slight hourglass, that little bit of a bell shape on either end of these diner mugs. So you've got, look at that. Haddonfield Diner, come get a slice. Crystal Lake Diner, and they got the Camp Crystal Lake established 1935. See, even the TV show can't come up with their own Crystal Lake logo, but this coffee cup, what is it? Fright Rags did this for this coffee cup. Crave Inn Diner with Fred's Pest Control. I don't know. Does pest control really have anything to do with it? With this one might be a stretch for me, but I still think it's fun. I ain't gonna hate on it. And the Double R Diner, that one looks great too. I would take 3 out of the 4. I would take 3 out of the 4. The Haddonfield Diner is classic. That Art Deco look, really, really fun stuff. Let me jump back in and see what you guys are saying. Get some of your thoughts here on the vinyl and the mugs. Pam gets heavily booed as a singer, making her feel uneasy, but Jason Drowning makes her go completely over the edge. I thought she would just give it up, give it up for him, essentially. Let's see here. Crazy Ralph is going to be the Loomis of the Crystal Lake series. Oh my gosh. T. Parker says, been listening to the Sinner soundtrack on a loop for a week. Yeah, really good stuff. It cracked me up when I was like sitting through the credits and Lars Ulrich plays drums on the score and the soundtrack. I was like, oh wow, they got Lars from Metallica to play on this record. That's pretty fun. What's happening? Aaron Click, our guy, is in the chat. Welcome on in, Aaron. Hope you had a great week and that you're primed for an awesome weekend as well. Yeah, it's really not that bad. $45 for a double is pretty good stuff. Well, yeah, I mean, if 1965 is your birth year, then of course, yeah, double vinyl would have been 10 for sure. But, especially the thicker vinyl, it's always going to go for a little bit more. Eli's popping in to say should be getting the Jason X/Jason Goes to Hell 4K and the Beyond 4K tomorrow. Hell yeah, dude. Jamie wants the double R mug big time. I bet you do. I bet you do. You know, Steve, I did not participate in Record Store Day this year. I went last year, and like the one record that I had my sights set on, I wasn't able to get because I guess the record store only got one copy. I wanted this Jim Croce vinyl. I'm a big Jim Croce fan. But I did pick up this cool Doors live vinyl. It's like a German show, a German concert. Ashton, I'm so sorry. I saw a few of your chats come through, and I just totally I don't know what the hell happened, man. I totally missed you. Welcome on in, bud. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great week. Are you excited about who your Patriots have been picking in the NFL draft? Let me know. Holy cow, you guys. We have 32 people in here. That is amazing for a Friday night stream. I know there's always a whole hell of a lot going on Friday night. So really appreciate you guys kicking it with us here. Just looking at the poll, will we get the Crystal Lake TV show in 2025? 33% of you say yes, we'll see it in October, and 67% say no way, it'll be Friday the 13th, February of 2026. Woo! I'm going to close the poll there just so I don't forget it. I think that's pretty good. Pretty good there. Let's see here. Just watching the draft. There you go. Coy jumps in with a 199 super chat. Thank you so much, Coy. Says, you watched the Predator Badlands trailer? I did, yeah. I watched it, and I was gonna talk about that tonight, but I'm not the biggest like Predator connoisseur, so I didn't want to jump in acting like I know what's what. I do think it is odd. It's sort of like when I read the plot, I'm just like, okay, so it's supposed to be like soy boy predator that like isn't quite a man and isn't quite a predator, like has to find a way to prove himself. I thought that was kind of an odd plot. I think the predator looks weird. I don't really like the receding hairline dread look. It's kind of like opposite, whereas they usually have like the, you know, reptilian like bumps and, you know, kind of spikes and everything. Yeah, looks kind of derpy. The Predator himself. Now, the movie could be good. I mean, it could be pretty fun. It looks like the action is really fun in it, but it's such a little, it's just such a tease. I don't really know what to think of it. But I wish the Predator looked cooler. I'll say that. Jim Croce is the Cody bat signal. There it is. Jim Croce, Mickey Rourke. That's another one. And Eric Roberts. Those are the three Cody Snyder bat signals. At least the three that I can think of right now. Oh, the Requiem for a Dream vinyl. Yeah, man. Talk about a movie that's really good, but a one and done. Oh my gosh, that movie's hard. Yeah, the draft is interesting this year, Chester, because there's just not a lot of good quarterbacks. And there's not a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. So usually that's like the most exciting thing is like which hot quarterback is going to go to some desperate team or who's going to swoop in and grab this amazing young quarterback talent. But yeah, this draft has mostly been like offensive line, defensive line, running backs, you know, for sure. They should have made S-Mart comedy movie and have Bruce Campbell be the manager. I thought you were going to say, Coy, that they should have made an S-Mart coffee mug. That would be kind of cool too. All right, let me move on over into some other news here. What do we got coming up next? Oh, I wonder, did you guys see this? I kind of want to play the trailer for this. Did you guys see this? Did you guys see this? There it is. Lost 90s slasher Arbor Day makes home video debut in 4K from Terror Vision. Did you guys see this pop up? This is really interesting. Just when you thought Arbor Day was a rare holiday to escape the slasher treatment, a lost film bearing its name has been unearthed. Arbor Day premiered in 1990, but has never been available in any format in the 35 years since, until now, as Terror Vision has restored the horror comedy in 4K with HDR. Limited to 1,000, the 3-disc set includes the film on 4K, Ultra HD, and Blu-ray, along with the feature-length documentary, Out on a Limb, the making of Arbor Day. So while planting a tree as part of an Arbor Day celebration, Elmer Jacobs witnesses the horrifying slaughter of his parents by a grizzly bear. Catatonic for 20 years, he is taunted by apathetic doctors and a cruel hospital staff when he finally snaps like the branch of a tree and begins a vengeful slaughter, reaping a crop of victims using gardening tools. Unaware of Elmer's rampage, a group of teens party in his abandoned house, only to be chopped down one by one. Do you guys want to see the trailer for this? Did you guys check it out? I mean, it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's cool that whenever you find like a piece of like lost art, lost media, and they're able to revive it and convert it to 4K. That's pretty fun stuff. Do you guys want to watch this trailer here in the stream? Let's see if I can make it happen. So what happens if I do this and I do this? Can you guys see that? Okay, cool. I'm going to get Koi's chat off there. No offense, Koi. Sometimes I just leave those up there. Let's go ahead and give the music a pause. There we go. Guys, yeah, let's check this out. I saw a little bit of it pop up. I'm so excited on Twitter, but I didn't watch the whole thing. So this is my first time watching it along with you guys. All right, here we go.
In 1990, a group of inspired young filmmakers shot and completed a holiday set slasher film called Arbor Day.
Wow, this must be our lucky day.
But they weren't out of the woods yet.
Please, Daddy, I'm scared.
After premiering that year, Arbor Day made like a tree and was never distributed on any home video format ever.
God, what a horrible story.
Now, in 2025, after a little digging, the nuts at TerrorVision are planting the seeds so that Arbor Day can finally sprout into a fully grown cult classic in ultra high definition.
Our tree's gonna last 100 million zillion years.
Grab the limited edition of the #1 unreleased slasher comedy from 1990 of all time. Today.
All right, guys, there it is, Arbor Day. What do you guys think of that? Do you think that they're lying? Do you think this really was shot in 1990, or do you think that they just did it and they're trying to make it look like that? I'm curious. I wonder. Yeah, and limited to 1,000 copies at $33. This thing is gonna sell out so quick, isn't it? I mean, this is the kind of thing that YouTubers die to be able to talk about. The physical media guys. I don't know. What do you guys think about Arbor Day? Let me know in the chat. Let's see here. If Arbor Day doesn't contain fruit-bearing trees that throw their fruit at their victims, I'll be pissed. It doesn't look like it does. Doesn't look like it does. Leave this movie alone. Jeez. Leanna. Does anyone want to change their vote to no now? It looks great. Very promising. Yeah, I mean, it looks totally silly. I mean, they do call it a comedy. I mean, it clearly very, very low budget, but I think that I don't know, guys, maybe it's just because I'm a big Mystery Science Theater 3000 fan. I kind of like this sort of like, oh, they tried. They've got a lot of ambition. They're having fun with it. Like, the movie looks like a hoot. It at least looks funny, Boom, there it is. Already ordered my copy, says Eli. I knew there would be some. There's got to be. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing's sold out by tomorrow. Yeah, probably is from 1990. TerrorVision finds these kinds of things. That's wild. It does look pretty amazing. Like, what's with the flower head? That's the character, like the Daisy head killer. Did I just name the killer right there? The Daisy head killer. Trademarked by Davey Deathray. I'm saying it right here on this stream. Can we plant this in the cellar? You're too funny, Paula. Oh, that's awesome. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, I was gonna talk Predator, so let's take a look at this derp fest. Look at this guy. This thing just looks bad. I don't like it. I'm not gonna say very much. I guess we could watch the trailer if you guys want to watch the trailer, but I bet everybody has already watched it. First Hunt, Last Chance. Yeah, so it's like a downtrodden teenager, young 20-somethings predator that's trying to, all these stories that they just try to turn into expanded universes. I just, I don't know if they really need it. But yeah, let's see here. The newest entry in the franchise is set on a remote planet where a young predator, outcast from his clan, finds an unlikely ally in Thea, played by Elle Fanning, and embarks on a treacherous journey in the search of the ultimate adversary. Yes, the main protagonist of the film is a predator, says Bloody Disgusting. And they're bringing back the same director from Prey, so that's a good bit of news for sure, especially if you're a fan of Prey. I think the movie will be fun. I just don't know about this look. I'm not really sold on the receding hairline 20-something predator look. Not really my cup of tea. Speaking of a movie coming out that had a trailer released that I'm not very excited for, I Know What You Did Last Summer. That trailer was so underwhelming, you guys. I'd almost preferred that they just did a teaser and then gave us an actual something that's a little more interesting. This thing just looks really flat. It just kind of looks like a TV movie or a streaming series. It's cool to see the fisherman killer back. I like the look of the killer and everything like that. I do like the harpoon, what they show in the trailer with the utilizing some different tools that aren't just the hook. I think that's a fun little take. But this, honestly, even though it's got Freddie Prinze and Jennifer Love Hewitt in it, it just looks like a just outright remake, pretty much. I don't know. I know I don't really need to read about this. You guys know what's going on with I Know What You Did Last Summer. We could watch the trailer together if you guys really want to. I would imagine most of you guys have already seen the trailer. And if you don't want to watch the trailer, then you certainly don't want me to be showing it here. But I don't know. What do you guys, for those of you that did see the trailer for I Know What You Did Last Summer, where are you at on this one? Are you more excited, less excited? Did nothing change at all? I don't know. Let me know. Let's see here. Chester says, I'd like to stay, but I got to go get some sleep. Great as always, Davey. Thank you so much, Chester. Really appreciate you kicking it with us as always. It's a pleasure having you as part of the Death Squad, man. I know for a while there we would see you every now and then, but I love that we're seeing you every single time. To me, it makes me happy because it's like, hey, there's a vibe here in the chat. There's a vibe here on the streams that you really dig, and happy to have you as one of our awesome community members, man. Have a great rest of your night and an awesome weekend. What's happening, Sebastian? Welcome on into the chat. Hope you're doing well. Everybody say what's up to Sebastian. Louis Tango jumping in to say, yeah, the movie doesn't look that good, the new Predator movie. There's so little that they really show there. I think that there is some potential for some cool action scenes and all that stuff, but I'm not digging the look of the Predator, so that's a tough one for me. Do I even want to watch a movie if I don't like the way the character looks? It's like sometimes when when I rank the Halloween movies, I'm like, well, Michael looks like shit in part 5. So how could I ever let part 5 get past this point because he looks terrible? You know what I mean? And welcome on back, Louis. It seems like it's been a little bit. I'm pumped that you're kicking it with us here again. I got to name the Twisted Locker squad. I named us the Twisted Knights. There you go, man. That is awesome. Love those guys over at Twisted Locker. If you don't follow them on YouTube, go give them a sub for sure. Jennifer, yeah, I mean, she looks good and everything. It's just the really corny dialogue when she's like, what did you do last summer? It's just, I don't know. T. Parker says, I enjoy the I Know What You Did Last Summer series for what it is, or I Know What You Did Last Summer for what it is as a legacy sequel. It reminded me a lot of Scream 5. Yeah, it had a little bit of that and a little bit of with Jennifer Love Hewitt, even, reminds me of the Halloween legacy sequels as well. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's get a Flag Day horror movie, Killer Flags that seek to kill all humans, or a guy that kills with a flagpole. That could be kind of cool. Jamie said, I said this earlier. I have to be honest. I watched the trailer for I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I wasn't impressed. Yeah, me neither. Me neither. Not at all. Like, it's fine. There's nothing where I'm like, bullshit or anything like that. Just a lot of like callbacks and moments that I recognize from the first movie. And yeah, the little thing with the harpoon was cool, but that's about it. Hope you're doing well as well, Sebastian. How was your week, man? What you got planned for the weekend? Anything crazy? Anything fun? Going to a concert? Checking out a movie, maybe? Let us know. Wayne says, I don't remember I Know What You Did Last Summer even being a huge deal in 1997, to be honest. Yeah, it never was. You know, I think the people that maybe were born in the early 90s, you know, early to late 90s, that maybe there's more nostalgia for those people than even for, you know, like I was in high school when it came out. I was 15 in 1997. So, yeah, that summer when it came out, I think it was a summer movie. And yeah, nowhere near as good as Scream or anything like that. I mean, nothing really touched Scream as far as those teen slashers went. But yeah, I Know What You Did Last Summer was pretty tame, you know, relatively tame. Take care, Texas Hardcore 1965. Thank you so much for jumping on in. Hopefully you hit that sub button so you can catch us the next time we go live. The Predator trailer looked kind of cartoonish, honestly. Well, especially the way the Predator looks, yeah. I know Freddy is going to get the Dewey treatment from Scream 5, and I'm not ready for it. Hopefully not. I mean, yeah. Like, they could kill both of them. They'll probably just kill him. At least can we have him dying heroically, saving someone's life, something like that. Yeah, oh my gosh, you guys are like right on the same wavelength right there. Look at that. One after another. Aaron says, yeah, no interest in I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot. Reinforces the fact that this is the era of, quote, you'd better save your money or you're going to die. Yeah, it definitely looks like they're not really going all out for this one. They're just sort of doing it, you know. American Idol is on Sunday and the draft is on. Ooh, which one are you going to pick, Paula? I've never been an American Idol watcher. I remember when it was like really big at the very beginning. People would talk about it at my work all the time. But I've never been one to watch it. Sebastian says, I'll check out I Know What You Did Last Summer, but I don't know what's going to separate this from other movies. Yeah, I don't think that's why. So, you know, Prince earlier in the stream, he had said, thank you for answering my question, Davey, because he hit me up on Insta with a DM and he was like, hey, what movie do you think is going to make more in the box office? Do you think it's going to be Final Destination Bloodlines, or do you think it'll be I Know What You Did Last Summer? And I told him my money is on Final Destination Bloodlines because it looks to be a better movie. It's a little more like recent. It had a good run of 5 movies before this. I believe the people making this film, Bloodlines, are fans of the series, so they sort of like grew up watching this. I think like the audience that Final Destination is going after are people in their 20s and early 30s for the most part. And so I think it's going to have more staying power in the box office. I'm not saying it's going to be number 1, but I think it's going to be a lot more steady. I think with I Know What You Did Last Summer, you're going to have people like maybe my age, you know, stuff like that. Maybe some teenagers that go and check it out as well. But I think after that first weekend, because it just doesn't, I don't know. To me, I'm not very inspired by the trailer. So I don't have hopes that it's going to be a great movie. So I think if that's the case, it might have a good first weekend and then a steep, giant drop off after that. So yeah, I think that Final Destination is probably going to do better. It's probably going to be a lot more fun. Like, let's be honest. Like, and it's not like I'm saying that you know, some of you are probably like, I'm not going to see either movie in the theater. But if you had to pick, like, which one would you rather see? Like, I would probably rather go see Final Destination. I'm not even a huge fan of the series. But I bet it's going to be more fun in the theater than I Know What You Did Last Summer, for sure. I don't even know what I did last summer, let alone what anyone else did, says Jordan Decker. What about that thing where you just put like in my pants or in your pants after every movie title? I Know What You Did Last Summer, in your pants. I'm going to catch Thunderbolts. Heard a lot of good things from press screenings. I have been hearing some good stuff too. And I know even Dave Cullen He's I believe Irish. I hope I got that right, Dave. Not that you're watching this, but Dave Cullen, Irish YouTuber. I'm just gonna go ahead and say Irish. He's redheaded. He's got an accent that sounds Irish. He's usually like he's pretty fair, but fair but critical, especially on the comic book movies and everything. And he's got a good feeling about Thunderbolts as well. So yeah, it looks to be fun. Jigsaw says, I still think I know, but may have forgotten what you did 30 summers ago. Exactly. T. Parker says, at least Scary Movie 6 will have more funny moments with making fun of Scream 5 through 6, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. Yeah, and I would imagine, what else are they going to tackle? The Substance, Evil Dead Rise, Long Legs, Terrifier, Late Night with the Devil, Abigail. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff in there. And I'll say this again, because I feel like I've said it a lot. I don't like those scary movies. I don't think I think Scary Movie 2 had some funny moments. I don't understand the humor in those movies. I don't know what it is. I grew up with like Airplane and Naked Gun and Hot Shots and like all that stuff. And I love horror movies. So you'd think it would be like perfect for somebody like me, but I don't know, man. Those scary movies, the humor is just, I don't know. I hate to say this because I even like some like bathroom humor. I just think the humor is like so low bar on those, but more power to you if you enjoy them. And I will say this, I am curious. I will watch Scary Movie 6 at some point just to see if it makes fun of one of my favorite scary movies. So there's that for sure. Let's see here. They almost had Ray being the killer once. Well, that would be a twist, although I'm betting the killer is going to be a lady this time around. Raggedy Man says, last year I would have said I Know What You Did Last Summer was the one I was looking forward to, but it's 100% Final Destination now. Yeah, it seems like they're kind of bringing it back. This could be the best one in the franchise. Sebastian wants to see I Know What You Did Last Summer for Jennifer MILF. And Prince is with me on Final Destination, plus the kills are supernatural, like a prediction who's going to die. I'm glad it doesn't include creatures. Well, yeah, and like the whole like not even like the prediction of who's going to die, but how it's going to go, because they're really creative with how they work those Rube Goldberg machine deaths. Like you see one thing and you think the obvious, but like if they do the movie well, then it's not going to be the obvious. They're going to find a creative way to get you going on that. T. Parker has more hopes for Final Destination and 28 Years Later. Oh yeah, well that one looks like that's going to be a legit film. Not that slashers can't be legit films, but you know what I mean. Like, yeah, I think that 28 Years Later looks like a fully realized. 28 Years Later looks like a fully realized world for sure. I know what movie you won't see this summer. Oh, that's funny. I know you won't make more money this summer. Yeah. I don't even remember her death scene in Scary Movie. I erased that movie from my memory. Naked Gun is hilarious. I'm glad they're continuing it. I just hope it's not what is it? Let's see here. Oh, won't dumb it down for the new audience. I don't think so, because Seth MacFarlane wrote this one. So I liked the teaser for Naked Gun. I thought it was a really good teaser, and I think it's right in line with the humor from the original. So I even think that Seth is going to do a good job sort of replicating that Abrams, Zucker, Pat Proft kind of sense of humor. Louis says, or asks, do you think we'll get any legacy characters from Final Destination besides Tony Todd's character? I don't know. Are there any that are alive? Like any of the characters that are alive? Because don't they usually die at the end of the movies, right? So what about the girl from Final Destination 2? Did she make it out? The main girl that has the premonition? I think she lives, right? Does she live, and does the guy that played the cop, does he live as well? The guy that was Jimmy Olsen and Lois and Clark? Yeah. I don't know. Shannon Elizabeth got her arm sliced, broke her hip, and decapitated, and she still survived. Yeah. Better than her kill in Jack Frost, or worse? Kimberly from part 2. Yeah. The guy. Okay. So both of them from part 2. So yes. Okay. That's what I thought. They could show up. I mean, this would be a great time to bring them back. And a good surprise, right? I still haven't watched the full-length trailer to, like, I watched the teaser trailer with the guy doing the tattoo and all that stuff, but I haven't seen like the full trailer. So I'm just going to go into that movie just, you know, relatively blind. P. Parker says, my delusional ass believes Wendy from 3 is still alive. Yeah, she sort of has. It's a very, when they did, what's that Sam Raimi movie, Drag Me to Hell, very similar ends from Drag Me to Hell and Final Destination 3. That same like pose, you know. Yeah, assaulted to death. No, Kimberly didn't live. There's a very short shot of an article saying that they both died. The cop and in the Good Bad guys, Good Bad Flicks is amazing. Cecil over there at Good Bad Flicks, one of my favorite YouTubers. Guy is unreal. If you don't follow him, you don't subscribe, go ahead and run on over there because there's so much amazing content. I know he's never going to see this because he's all big time, but I'm happy for him. And he's got a local band, a Phoenix band that does his music and everything like that. Okay, so there is a shot in one of the films. So they never like said it outright and we never saw it. But it must be kind of like an Easter egg, it sounds like. Oh, well, that sucks. Let's see here. The new Naked Gun looks so-so. I don't think it's clever at all with the character walking in and being someone else. I've been drinking. I don't remember details. Like last week, Aaron. You know, okay. That joke is probably the worst one out of the bunch. But I loved like killing the guys with the lollipop. You know, him being like Frank Drebin, the new version. Like, and he's all, yeah, I don't know. I liked it a lot. I love all the guys lined up to look at portraits of their fathers. Like these are literally just the sons of each character from the original franchise. Like I thought that was a really great visual gag that's very reminiscent of something they would have done in Hot Shots or Naked Gun. And then when it goes along to like OJ's picture and they show, you know, Nordberg's son, he just looks at the camera and he's like, nah. Like I don't know. I got a couple good laughs, but it's such a teaser. There's just not much to know about from that. Yeah, I bet it will be a one-off because I don't think it's gonna be making any money, right? Sebastian. So we reacted over on. So I do a show with Lee from Drum Dums and Nick from the Lost River Drive-In. This last week we had Cecil from the Horror Show channel fill in, and we watched the trailer for him. And I thought it looked really good. It kind of reminded me of it was like The Substance meets what's that? What was the other movie I was just thinking about? Because it's got that kind of like cult mentality, but also the idea of like improving yourself through like, you know, substances or like demonic possession. I think it looks really interesting for sure. Yeah. I'm very intrigued. Let's see here. Oh, it's confirmed that it's not canon. Oh shit. Fair game then. There it is. Yeah, Drag Me to Hell is great. I mean, Sam Raimi, when he's like in that horror comedy space, I mean, it's so difficult to beat him. And What's Happening, Master Casalius. Is that how you say that? Casalius? I think this is your first time kicking it with us, or at least the first time jumping on into the chat and chiming into the conversation. So guys, welcome on in, Master Casalius. You are kicking it with the Death Squad. All right, let me see. Yeah. Well, yeah, he's serious in Requiem for a Dream as well, which oddly enough was brought up during the stream. Really, really good in Requiem for a Dream. And I think he looks really good in this movie too. Yeah, definitely picked up on that kind of substance-y vibes, just like the younger athletic version, you know. Substance meets Exorcist. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Maybe I'm just, yeah, there was some other movie that came to mind when I watched the trailer, but you get kind of foggy headed when you're live. Let me just make sure there's no other news or anything that I wanted to cover here. Oh, there are a couple other things I wanted to chime in on, guys, really quick, and then we can just sort of chit chat for a bit. I'll probably go for another 25 minutes or so. So there we go. We got the I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then moving right along to another 90s reboot. Guys, we got news that there is an urban legend reboot in the works. Screen Gems will explore urban legends in the digital age. So this could be pretty interesting, honestly. You know, it's a reboot, but they're gonna reboot it. You know, we're probably gonna get like all sorts of like creepypasta and Slender Man and all sorts of shit like that that's gonna be worked in. So I'm pretty curious on this one. Just on the surface level, I know for a lot of people it's sort of like roll your eyes and be like another reboot of a 90s slasher. But in all fairness, like the first Urban Legend movie is fun. It's not going to change your life. It's nothing groundbreaking, anything like that. The second movie's not that great. I think there might have been like a direct-to-video third entry. I'm not sure. I know there was a terrible direct-to-video. I know you did last summer third entry. But with Urban Legend, I think this one could be really fun. So let's see what they've got here. It says Screen Gems is developing a new take on 90s slasher Urban Legend, and THR reports that Shanra Wakefield will write the script with Gary Dauberman producing. Neil Moritz is also in talks to produce, with the reboot in early development. While plot details are unknown, sources say the story aims to be an examination of what an urban legend looks like in a post-digital world. That's what I'm interested in. And then it goes on to say, in the Jamie Blanks directed 1998 slasher starring Jared Leto, Alicia Witt, and Rebecca Gayheart, a college student suspects a series of bizarre deaths are connected to urban legends. So yeah, we're gonna see the digital, post-digital world version of that, so that'll be a little bit fresh, you know. Unlike I Know What You Did Last Summer, where it looks like they're doing the same thing, a car accident. They couldn't even do it like a boating accident, or we were out camping, or we went on a hike, and like, you know, like they could have done something creative with I Know What You Did Last Summer, but it literally seems like it's going to be another car-related tragedy. And maybe they'll change something about that. Maybe it'll be an actual car accident, like car on car, and not just running somebody over. But they could have gotten a little creative with how the tragedy happens in I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025. But it looks like, at least from what we're seeing here with Urban Legend, with this reboot, you know, they are going to be thinking a little bit and trying to actually move it forward, make it, you know, kind of brand new for the people that know the original, and something totally fresh and relative and relatable to today's modern audience. So I'm kind of hopeful with this one. Of course, like any other movie, it remains to be seen. You know, the more information we get, I'll probably watch a teaser trailer if they drop that. But I think that this is much more exciting than just your run-of-the-mill average kind of reboot that we seem to be getting ever since Halloween 2018 did its thing. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. One last thing here that we can cover really quick, because this isn't really news, it's just something that's near and dear to my heart. They're doing a Jaws 50th anniversary in Martha's Vineyard this summer. So I mean, we all know it's the 50th anniversary, of course, because everyone knows about Jaws. But yeah, they're doing they've got some fun events lined up. So they say, let's see here. It's always nice to see a community embrace its cinematic legacy, and Martha's Vineyard is going all out for the 50th anniversary of Jaws. The Massachusetts island, which stood in for the fictitious Amity Island in Steven Spielberg's 75 groundbreaking classic, will host a variety of themed events between June 20th and 23rd. So yeah, they're going to be the premiere of Jaws at 50, the definitive inside story. That's going to be on June 20th. Then they're going to be doing an after party hosted by the Chamber of Commerce at the Harbor View Hotel. That'll be pretty cool. Photo ops, exclusive swag, shark-themed cocktails, live music, and an electric atmosphere. And then they're on the 21st, they're going to do a presentation of Jaws with a live performance of John Williams' iconic music score by the Cape Symphony. That would be really cool. That would be amazing. And then one of the really cool things I saw here, they say prepare to be fully immersed in the world of sharks with Discovery's Shark Week VIP experience and activation featuring Shark Week giveaways, photo ops, and a nostalgic 1975 inspired atmosphere. I'm curious to know what that whole thing is like. But guys, this thing is crazy expensive. You can go look at the tickets and everything. Hundreds of dollars to attend like these after parties and everything. So I doubt I'll be going unless we start a GoFundMe and you guys take care of you guys pick up the bill. Jaws is my favorite film of all time. I think it's so awesome that they're doing this 50th anniversary. If I were there in the New England area or in like the Northeast or even just the East Coast, I'd probably at least want to make it for a couple of these events, but it looks like it's going to cost quite a bit to be able to enjoy everything that they've got there. Even just not even like VIP tickets were hundreds of dollars for just one event. So pretty wacky, wild stuff, but I guess I can't blame them because Jaws is a friggin' masterpiece. So that's just the last little bit of fun news I wanted to share with you guys. So we can chat about that Urban Legend reboot and whatever else you guys want to for the next 20 minutes or so. Let's see what we got. Requeef for a cream. Oh my gosh. Aaron, you and Jordan Decker. Reboot fever. It's true, Prince. And it's always been this way in Hollywood. It's nothing new, Remakes have been happening for a long time. Even like the Star is Born film with Barbara Streisand and all that, that was a remake. That wasn't the original Star is Born. So the one that we just got was like the third or fourth version of the film. So it's nothing new to like remake and reboot. Yes, it can get to seem sort of tiring when it becomes like trendy and you notice like, oh shit, they're doing it with everything. But hey, how many times do you hear people say like, oh man, it would be so cool if they rebooted or remade The Faculty? And then the moment they do it, most people are going to be like, oh, they're remaking The Faculty, so I don't know. I think, like I said with Urban Legend, I'm hopeful on that one because I do think it's cool that they're bringing it into the modern age. I just criticize spoofs that are too sex-centric, and I'm making a bunch of sex jokes and puns. Hey, that's what the drink can do to you sometimes, Aaron. If Kimberly and the cop were supposed to appear in... Kimberly and the cop were supposed to appear in Final Destination 3, but they turned it down since it was just a cameo to die on the train. Oh. They'll move into the 2000s next. Red Eye is going to be remade. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. Why not? I mean, technically, Final Destination is from 2000. So it was in production in 1999, but it came out in 2000. So, yeah, we're kind of already there. It's crazy. Totally crazy. T. Parker says, I believe I know what you did last summer. 25 will be a box office success since its budget is around 20 million. I can see it making around 90 to 100 million at least. Oh, wow. Yeah, I could see that. I'm going to go to not copy you, T. Parker. I'm going to say 70 to 90 is what I'm going to say. I think it'll have a good weekend and it'll really drop off after that. Aaron, click. Right now, I'm the bourbon legend. That's pretty good. Master Casalia says, I really dig Urban Legend. The Brad Dourif scene was my fave. It is an amazing opening scene. That is such a classic opening scene. Yeah. And the movie's really fun. I mean, Michael Rosenbaum is really charming in that flick. And, I got no reason to hate on it at all. Jordan says, Martha's Vineyard is surely an affordable summer vacation spot. Yeah, it's probably like the most expensive place in, the entire country, I would imagine. Brad Dourif did do a stutter. Yeah. He did a great one. What's happening, Sean? How are you doing? Hope you've had a great week and that you're looking forward to an awesome weekend as well, man. Maybe the Obamas will be there. Yeah. They'll probably leave for that. They're like, oh God, a bunch of people that like Jaws are going to be hanging out here. A bunch of non-islanders. Let's get the hell out. Sean's planning on going to Flashback Weekend in Chicago this August. Ooh, what's that? Flashback Weekend in Chicago? Flashback Weekend in Chicago. Ooh, a horror convention. All right. Hell yeah. Dude, there's nothing better than going to a horror convention. I love it. I'm interested to see who the guests are. Okay, cool. So you're going to have Robert Englund there. Joe Dante. D. Wallace. Ooh, Devin Sawa. Kane Hodder. Adam Green. Jeffrey Combs. Barbara Crampton. Bruce Abbott. And Amanda Weiss. Tuesday night. This is amazing, dude. Oh my God. I want to go to this. I want to check this movie out. Yeah, or check this convention out. Check this movie out. You can tell I've just been streaming too much today. Lauren Lavera, David Howard Thornton, Antonella Rose. Wow. The whole Terrifier crew is going to be there. Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be really fun. Man, I am jealous of you, Sean. That looks like one hell of a time, man. It looks very expensive if you want to like meet everybody and get pictures with them and all that stuff, but really, really, really fun. Let's see here. Maybe the 1975 Jaws atmosphere means you'll be surrounded by mothers of toddlers who look like they're 63 years old. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, T. Parker, the first, I think they're fun enough. The first one is certainly worth watching. Let's see here. Not the toddlers, mind you, the mothers. Yes, no, I know what you're saying. You're talking about Mrs. Kintner. Yeah, Mrs. Grandma Mom. Yeah, Jamie, I think he was just saying that because they live there. Yeah, totally. They do own a home on Martha's Vineyard. Yeah. It's got to be, I can't even imagine how much scratch that takes to have a home on Martha's Vineyard. It's wild. Sean says, I think Sorority Hill or whatever the hell it's called might be the most forgotten remake ever. Is it a Sorority Row? The House on Sorority Row or whatever it is? Is that the name of the movie? Or is it just, I don't even know. Prom Night? What about Prom Night? That's another one. 90s reboots and biopics are taking over the industry. Yeah. Viable franchises. What's happening, Ryan? Hope you are doing well. Always great to see you. Yeah, that lineup's unbelievable, Aaron. It's friggin' crazy. That they're doing Mad Monster out here in Phoenix, and I know that Chicago's a bigger city than Phoenix for sure. Probably by 1 million or 2 people. But I'm sort of like, and maybe they just haven't announced everyone yet for Mad Monster, but it seems like a relatively, it's like Brad and Fiona Dourif and Robert Englund are like the 2, or, like those are the 3 main things that I've seen. I don't even know if I've really seen much else about Mad Monster Phoenix. But now I kind of want to check it out here. If you guys will oblige me. Mad Monster Phoenix. There it is. Mad Monster Party, Arizona. The other 2 years ago when I went to Mad Monster, it was a life-changing event. Got to meet Dave McRae. Finally decided to start this channel. Watch Dylan's New Nightmare at the pre-screening event. It was so awesome. So David Arquette, Brooke Bundy from Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4 and Star Trek The Next Generation. Robert Englund, Kim Director, who was in Book of Shadows. There you go, Jamie. Brad Dourif, Fiona Dourif, Griffin Dunne from American Werewolf in London. Ooh, Pam Grier, Danielle Harris, Kane Hodder, Ken Kurtzinger, Tracy Lords, Nivek Ogra. I'm not familiar. Repo the Genetic Opera. I know about that, but I've never seen it. Michael Pere from Eddie and the Cruisers. Oh, wow. And Streets of Fire. That's amazing. The Phantom AD, which is a ghoulish rock and roll. Wow. That's all right. I'm interested in that. Elizabeth Durazo, Eastbound and Down. Okay. Soraya, that's a AEW Women's World Champion. All right. Brooke Thies from Nightmare on Elm Street 4. Chase Williamson from John Dies at the End, Victor Crowley, Ant-Man, and Amanda Weiss. All right, so a little bit of overlap there. Wow, though, you got the whole Terrifier crew coming out to Chicago, though, and man, that's an amazing guest list. Master, I have seen Onyx. I've not seen the movie, but I've seen his like shorts that he's done and stuff like that. So I'm well aware of the character and everything, but I've not yet seen the film. Yeah, I should check it out. Have a great night, Eli. Thank you so much for kicking it with us. I hope you feel better soon, man. I hope the weekend brings some good rest and that you're ready to kick Monday's ass come that time. And thank you so much, man. Always a pleasure having you. Love you, brother. Get better soon. And as Eli says on his way out here, don't forget to slash that like button and sub to this amazing channel, and consider becoming a member of the mighty Death Squad for some sweet perks. Yeah, today we did 90s horror movie trivia, and our guy Dean Renner won a $30 Amazon gift card. So it actually, you're going to win some prizes if you sign up for that membership. Just 99 cents gets you in the front door. If you want to get in the back door, it's going to cost you. Where's that Cherry Falls reboot? I still haven't seen that movie. I should add that to the list. Sebastian asked Davey, what's your most anticipated film or series this year? Sebastian, I think my most anticipated film is Thanksgiving 2. I really loved Thanksgiving a lot. I love the look of John Carver. Love the creativity of the kills. I love the humor. Just everything was so like well measured and all that in that film. So I'm really looking forward to the sequel, especially now that we like know who John Carver is, who the person is under the mask. I think that if it goes the way I think it goes, which is that character lived, through the end of the film. What's really cool about that is the second film in the series doesn't need to be a whodunit. It'll be more of like just a straight, like, we know who the killer is and he's coming after us, and then they could do a third movie where maybe you could bring in like a copycat and sort of hit up the whodunit, flavor again. So really looking forward to Thanksgiving 2. And I'm not the biggest TV show watcher. So as far as series goes, I don't even know like what new is coming out. But if the Crystal Lake show can come out this year, that would be the one that would be my most anticipated. Thanks for the question, man. Aaron says, did you hear that Cobra has been announced to be coming to 4K? I did. Yeah, that's pretty awesome news. What a film. Sean's already met Robert Englund, and they announced Kane Hodder was going to be there, but I guess he backed out. Oh, that sucks. Well, you can fly on out to Phoenix and meet him here, unless he backs out here as well. We don't get too many horror conventions out in the Midwest, unfortunately. That's crazy. You'd think that Chicago would get at least like 2 a year, right? In the summer, and then, or, spring, summer, and then like, winter, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. I live in Florida, so the conventions are usually in Orlando or Tampa. Yeah. Nothing in the Miami area, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it sucks if you have to travel. I'm fortunate, like, where I'm at, I'm outside of Phoenix, but, like, downtown Phoenix is just, like, 35 minutes away. And usually where they do Mad Monster, it's in an area called Glendale. It's where the Cardinals play and all that. It's where the Coyotes, the hockey team, used to play when they were here. And that's just, like, a half hour away, 25 minutes away. So really not that bad. Jamie is pumped for Scarefest. Who's going to be at Scarefest, Jamie? I'm just going to spend the rest of the stream looking up lineups for horror conventions. Scarefest Lexington 2025. Let's check it out. Boom, here we go. Alan Troutman. Ooh, the original Tarman zombie. Andre Gower. Oh, from the Monster Squad. Ashley Bank from the Monster Squad. Oh my God, she's still so cute. Beverly Randolph from Return of the Living Dead. Bill Moseley, Billy Worth. Lost Boys. Bradley Gregg. Why do I recognize? Oh, Nightmare 3. There we go. Bruce Abbott. All right. Carl Thibault, who was looks like the Wolfman in Monster Squad. The actual Wolfman in costume, because I think didn't the guy that played the Wolfman when he wasn't in the costume was Uncle Rico? Chris Smith from Wraith Chasers. What is that? Is that what that is? I don't even know what that is. Danielle Harris, of course. David Utentoli from Grimm. Basically, this looks like Zachary Levi. Don Shanks. Oh my God, Don Shanks is so ripped. Doug Bradley. Yeah. Duncan Rager. Is he Dracula from... Wow. Dracula from the Monster Squad. Heather Langenkamp. Ira Heeden from Nightmare 3. Jason Patrick, of course, from So Much. Jeffrey Combs from So Much. Jennifer Rubin. This is like a Nightmare 3, reunion Ken Sagos as well. Jensen Daggett, everyone's favorite Friday the 13th final girl, Jensen Daggett from Jason Takes Manhattan. Jewel Shepard from Return of the Living Dead. John Philbin, Return of the Living Dead. Oh my God, this is amazing. I could name everybody, but we'll be here for the rest of the night. Lynn Shay, Linnea Quigley. I wonder if she's going to pop her boobs out. Mark Patton from Freddy's Revenge. Man, this is Miguel Nunez Jr., very, very friendly guy. This is basically a reunion of Monster Squad, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and Return of the Living Dead, and so much more. Scout Taylor Compton. Oh my God, I would love to meet Scout. Oh, she is such a good actress, and she is such a gorgeous gal. BC Dupree from Jason Takes Manhattan, Tom Matthews. That's a really incredible lineup. That's amazing. That must be that man. So that probably brings people from all over, from the middle of the country to the East Coast, I would imagine. Let's see here. I'm sure I'm way behind. T. Parker says, is Thanksgiving 2 even coming out this year? They haven't started filming yet or even acknowledged it started production or who's in it. As far as I know, it's still coming out, T. Parker. But that's a good point. Is it going to be released? Let's see here. Thanksgiving 2 is set to be released in the United States in 2025, but that's just from the wiki fandom. They said Eli 4 months ago it was announced, or on Reddit they're saying, yeah. Oh, I'm World of Real. December 2nd, 2024. It says Thanksgiving 2 starts filming in March. So I don't know. I haven't heard anything, but as far as I know, it's still on track. Davey, Footloose, Flashdance, or Grease? I'm gonna go Footloose. Michael Rudolph, what's happening, Michael? I think this is your first time kicking it with us here. You're hanging out with the Death Squad. Everybody make Michael feel very welcome. And Michael says, we actually get a few here in Chicago. We get Days of the Dead twice a year, Flashback Weekend, and next weekend we have Nightmare Weekend. Well, all right. I figure Chicago should get a handful. I mean, at least a couple. We've got we had Days of the Dead and Mad Monster last year, and then we've got some smaller conventions. They're actually really damn cool too. Had a lot of fun at the smaller cons. Let's see here. Davey, have you seen the movie Red Rooms? It's not horror per se, but its subject matter is horrific. It's a deliberately paced character study. One scene in particular is so memorable. I've never seen Red Rooms. I haven't even heard of it. At least I don't think I've heard of it. Let's see here. Red Rooms, Canadian psychological thriller. Yeah, I don't think I've heard of this one. I might have to check it out. Looks like you can watch it on AMC Plus. But it looks like you have to pay everywhere else. All right. Let's see here. Definitely be meeting Heather Langenkamp. You might have spelled it correctly. There might be an extra H in there somewhere. I have no idea. But yeah, man, meeting Heather would be amazing. You got to share that picture with us, Jamie. Did you say boobs? I'm in, says Jordan Decker, of course. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Yeah, I've never met Danielle. I should have met her at age 45, but I didn't. Maybe age 50. Yeah, Scout is, man, she's amazing. Yeah, you're not the only one. His first, Rob Zombie's first Halloween movie, I'm not the biggest fan of. I don't think it's terrible. I'm just not the biggest fan because, we already have the original. So there's a couple things he adds in there, like seeing the Strodes get killed. I thought that was a cool little scene. But I love Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I'm a huge fan and massive defender of that film. So I'm right there with you, Master Casalius. Let's see here. Yeah, some really, really crazy stuff going on there. I've been sort of out of the loop for months, guys. With everything going on in my personal life, I took a big step back from everything that was going on there. So I found out along with everyone else, unfortunately, but it looks like they're running into some pretty big issues for sure. Oh, it's on Shudder? Okay, cool. I've got Shudder. I'll check it out for sure. Who would I like to see play Jason? I want to see Vincent DeSanti play Jason in a feature-length major studio production Friday the 13th film. That's who I want to see play Jason. He deserves it. I've loved it if he wrote the movie as well. And I guess he could direct it too. I'll allow it. Holy crap, guys. We are at 2 hours. My voice is tired. This is the second stream of the day for your pal Davey Deathray. I think we're going to call it right around here. Let's see here. I do really like the Friday the 13th remake from 2009. It's got, I don't know. To me, it's got like all the elements, all the things that I look for in a Friday the 13th movie. It has, maybe the score could be a little bit more like the original, something like that. The score isn't very memorable, but I do love Derek Mears as Jason. I love, him using all the tools that you would use like on a campsite. I love that. I love the idea of like Jason kind of being like a trapdoor spider, like Crystal Lake is his web. It's like the only place where he knew safety and love. And so he's like protecting his land. Like I love the hell out of that. And sometimes people care or complain about the annoying characters, but it's like, have you ever seen a Friday the 13th movie? It's kind of like, they're in like every single one of them. So yeah, I really like the Friday 2009 remake quite a bit. The Killer Cut is great. Yeah, I mean, I like them both, but Killer Cut's a lot of fun. Marcus Nispel knows how to direct something really, really intense for sure. But yeah, guys, that is gonna wrap it up here. Oh wait, T Parker says, let's be real. We're all extra excited for Silent Night, Deadly Night remake because of Rowan Campbell playing Billy. I am pumped about that, and that's something that we covered on the Hit the Bricks podcast or live stream on Monday. You can check that out over on the Drum Dums channel. We do talk about that because I'm a huge Rowan Campbell fan, and I love Halloween Ends. But even more, even if I didn't like Halloween Ends, the guy puts in a great performance in the film. So I think his performance is a very similar character to what he will be playing as Billy in Silent Night, Deadly Night. So I'm really looking forward to that one. And that will be all I've got to say for tonight. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you hit that like button. Hopefully you're subscribed or hit the button if you haven't subscribed yet. Please do that. We are growing this amazing community. Share the channel with somebody who you think would dig this kind of content. We're talking horror all the time. We talk a little bit of horror news. We're always doing like watch parties and fun stuff like that, bringing on other content creators. Whole bunch of great stuff here. And as you can tell, the folks in the chat are absolutely amazing. We've got an awesome community here and just want to keep on growing it. Really appreciate everyone for kicking it here with us tonight. Thank you so much to the Patreon members, the channel members as well, including our brand new channel member, NRU Cody, and of course, the awesome group of Death Squad mods, Jamie Hart, Leanna Bevy Rage, Robert the Wolfman, Brooke Scarlett, Cody Snyder, and Erica. I think those are the ones that popped in tonight, so want to extra thank those guys for keeping everything cool. I might be back this weekend, guys, for a little watch party, so keep an eye out. Make sure the notification bell is hit so you can see those polls and those posts that I make from the page, so you guys can get involved and make this channel just as much yours as it is mine. That's what this is all about. The channel would be nothing without you guys, so thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And until next time, I've been and will continue being Davey Deathray. Take care.